Quincy, what do you think has been the secret to this three-game winning streak that you guys have?
Secret is just buying in, and then on top of that, we came out of the bye week. Like I said, thought about the things we did good, the things we had problems with, worked on those, came back fast. But really just buying in and believing. And the biggest thing, the preparation throughout the week.
How about defense as you guys look forward to this game against the Chargers? Justin Herbert with some really good weapons on offense, etc.
Yeah.
How do you slow those guys down?
The biggest thing is the preparation with the misdirection and stuff like that. So they have a large package, kind of like the Cowboys type offense. So that's the biggest thing, just the preparation throughout the week. We actually get an extra week. Regen, we got in a lot of position, kind of banged up, offense and defense. So really like just getting our bodies together with the extra day, and then the extra day of preparation also.
How good was it to have Sauce and DJ back? You had some guys that filled in admirably for them before, but to have those guys back in the secondary like that.
Oh man, it's always good to have all your guys in. So it was great to have those guys back celebrating and stuff like that, and then on the field with us also.
But you had a couple of personal compounds come on you on Sunday. How do you balance going from the aggressive side to just towing that line before those rest of the flags?
The first one was uncalled for. It was more of like a selfish penalty, so I take that. It was like the heat of the moment type thing. That was one of those moments where you just got to take a step back, actually calm down. I mean, I can complain and be like, well, he had me by my neck. But no one really wants to hit it. I was catching the second person anyway, so that's something that I know. And then, like I said, that was a selfish penalty. We talk about penalties that happen, like full speed penalties. Those are ones that, I mean, like the second one I had also, like I can't change my trajectory of my hit in the air. So it's like, that was one of those things like, I mean, it is what it is type thing. Like I was going for the tackle, he slipped. I mean, I'm in the air already, so I can't change it. So those are one of those penalties that, okay, we can talk about that one. But the first one, there's no talking about it. It was a selfish penalty, and I take that.
What kind of challenge does Justin Herbert pose for you guys?
He's a great quarterback. The biggest thing is that the weapons around him and stuff, he's really good with using those guys. Eckler, so it's kind of like his get out of jail free card type with him, like figuring out where he is and things like that. So it's going to be a great offense to go against, a very good offense.
Why is Eckler so versatile? What makes him so good?
Well, really just running the catching for real, route running also, and then like I said, he's good with his speed also, so like route running, and then also out of the backfield. So they put him on a lot of linebacker type matchups and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of like the biggest thing.
These fans have certainly supported you guys, backed you guys. What are you expecting on Monday night? Monday nights, everybody watching.
Yeah, same way it's been like all the other times. Same way it's been like all the other times, really. Bright lights. It's gonna be a night game, so just expecting the crowd to be rocking. A primetime game at that also. So I'm expecting a lot of energy for real, for real.
What goes through your mind when Zach originally gets sacked there on 4th and 10, Giants getting the ball back? I mean, what are you thinking about in that moment as you're coming off the field?
Yeah, man, I was like hot. You know, I'm upset. I feel like we lost the game, to be honest, at that point. And you know, with that said, you know, I'm thinking that we lost the game. If we get another opportunity to go out there, you know, that's in the back of my head, and I know that I'll be ready. But the reality is, I'm pretty upset. You know, feeling like we just lost the game, and yeah, man, you know, tides turn, luckily.
Do you ever recall in your playing career, even go back to Little League, that switch of emotion from being so down after that 4th down play to all of a sudden you tie the game 3 plays later on offense and then eventually win it in overtime?
Yeah, nah, I don't actually. Now that you say it, I feel like that's definitely one of the crazier, you know, games I've been a part of as far as, you know, just how it felt on the sideline and how down we were, knowing how we played on offense. Getting that last opportunity really is what we needed. You know, not just, I don't just say that because we scored and we ended up winning the game, but just because of how, you know, much that would have weighed on us if we, you know, we didn't win that game this week and we didn't have that, you know, opportunity to go 50 yards and whatever it was, 20 seconds. So I feel like that was good for our, you know, our psyche and yeah, hopefully we can, you know, carry that momentum from that last drive specifically into this next week.
Is there something you can take from that last drive, you know, having to kind of being forced to push the ball downfield and kind of take those risks that you can take the other 59 minutes in the game?
Yeah. No, yeah, we've definitely, you know, try and figure out or tried to figure out why we were so good in those type circumstances, and on the contrary, why we aren't, in those other 59 minutes. And yeah, trying to make the rest of the game feel a little bit more urgent, to unlock some of the things that we've been, doing later in the games, and make it so that we don't have to, have a heroic drive every game, Yeah, so I feel like we definitely, we've taken note of that before even this past week, and now it's, trying to bottle up and make sure it's translating to the whole, the whole game, man, because the reality is we had no business winning that game, and when you rely on stuff like that at the end of the game, you're not going to win that many, so we got to get it going early.
All right, Garrett, you talked about this before, but just the resiliency of this team, just touch on that a little bit, and just what gives you that drive that no matter what the situation is, that you can always win any game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with how we train and how we practice during, training camp, OTAs, and practice throughout the season, man. It's not like, the way, a lot of the league does it, as far as the way we practice, how hard we practice, the way we finish to the ball. Once you make a catch, how you finish up the field. It's not, it's not about saving legs. The way we do things here, it's about straining during the week so that when that game comes, you can go a full 60 minutes and be playing your best football, when it matters most. And I feel like, when you do things that way, you're gonna respond on Sundays. And I feel like, we all have the right guys here to really make sure that is being, put on display. But it doesn't happen overnight, man. It's really something that we locked in on, and we tried to make it our identity as far as how we go about everything, because it doesn't just happen on Sunday, man. It's really got to be a mindset, whenever it talks about treatment, whatever it may be, but just finishing,
Garrett, with the third down issues, do you think it's a matter of improving on the stuff you guys are doing, or do you think maybe you have to go outside the box and try some new stuff to try to get out of that slump?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I think personally, I think that we can do, do some new things and see where that puts us. I'm the type of guy, if it's broke, don't fix it, and if it ain't broken, let's try some new things. So I think that's where we're at now, and we haven't been where we want to be on third down. I know I put that a lot on my plate. Not being open on when it matters most as far as third down, being able to move the chain. So I got to be better. When they are knowing we're passing the ball. And I feel like that'll help as well, just making sure that I'm doing my job, make sure I'm always 100% open, and, that might open up something else, give Zach a quicker look so we're not taking those sacks on third down, whatever it may be. But, yeah, man, we're going to try some new things this week and see how that works.
Jeff, you guys have, shut down a lot of what it seems like elite quarterbacks so far this year. I guess just how much is this another chance for this defense to shut down another elite quarterback?
Right, it's an awesome opportunity. Justin Herbert is one of the best quarterbacks in this league for a lot of different reasons. What's really surprised me, because I haven't played him for maybe 3 years now, of his growth, like his ability to see the field, make quick decisions, understand coverage at a higher level, and then his accuracy and his athleticism. He checks all the boxes. So, yeah, it's a major test for our defense.
As far as their offense, just kind of talk about the challenges they bring to you, because they have a lot of playmakers too as well.
They do, yeah. It starts with their running game. And I know that sounds funny because you talk about the Chargers, you talk about Justin Herbert, you talk about their receiving core and all that, but I really think that Eckler, he drives the engine there. And there's something about him when he's in the lineup that he just changes the energy of the offense. I feel like they move more efficiently, they're more physical, they finish better. And obviously he's an important part of their offense, period. And he gets them going. But, you're right, they've got this guy, number 12, that can absolutely run by you, and he can take the top off of defense. So you got to know where he's at in the field. And then Keenan Allen is still Keenan Allen. It makes no sense to me. I played against him. I coached against him when I was at UCLA, and he was at Cal. And I'm like, here's this guy that, just from a profile standpoint, he doesn't necessarily check all the boxes, but every time you watch the tape, he's the best player on the field, and he continues to do that. So we're going to have to go fight him, and yeah, we got our hands full across the board with these guys.
Why do you think you've been so effective? I know you're a good defense, but against some of these high-powered offenses, what clicks for you then?
I think it helps that the fact that we don't do a whole lot schematically, so it really gives us an opportunity to really get dialed into what the offense is doing and what the offense is doing specifically to us. Our guys, when they hit the field on Sunday, there's not a whole lot of guessing as far as how we're going to get attacked, what they're going to do. So there's an anticipatory factor that a lot of defenses don't have. When you run a lot of defense, as we talked about in the past, you face a lot of offense because they throw a little bit of everything at you. When you play very little defense, typically they become a little bit more predictable too because you know exactly how they attack the coverages that you play. So I think that's a big element to it, and our guys are now year 3 in this system and a lot of time on task, a lot of turns, and with that, they're playing faster and they're playing better, and their knowledge and their understanding of this defense is coming higher, and it's showing on Sundays.
How much of the ability to not scheme is because of the talent that you have on defense?
Yeah, there definitely is an element to that. Like we definitely think players before plays. We think athleticism over scheme. We think how do we find ways to turn our players' brains off and just let their natural gifts just shine. So there's definitely an element to the better you are, the less you have to do. And the better we get. The less we do. So it makes a lot of sense.
The way you guys have contained Mahomes, when you contain Josh, can you take anything from those game plans to combine against Justin, or is he kind of a different breed where you got to go completely different the way you attack him?
Similar in ways where you better monitor him, especially in the drop back game, because if you do take away his options, just like all the guys we faced this year, including. Have we faced a non-athletic quarterback this season? It's been an absolute pain in the butt, but you definitely have to account for him because when he doesn't have that initial read and the check down's taken away, he's gone. He's running. So from that standpoint, he's the same as Josh. He's the same as Jalen. He's the same as all these athletic quarterbacks that we faced. If you don't have a second-level guy monitoring him in some capacity, whether it's spy, whether it's zone principles, whatever it is, you better have a guy that's got eyes on him.
Robert's talked a little bit about the personal foul penalties from the other day. There's a few more than you probably would like. What's the teaching point on stuff like that? Because some of them, I guess they can go either way, but generally I'm sure you just don't want those happening.
Yeah, we preach this style of defense where we strain and we finish and we love the idea of being the most violent players on the field, and that comes to life on Sundays. And at times there's the aggressive penalties. For example, Solly's engaged the block. The runner cuts back. He spins off the block. He wails his arm, and he accidentally does the face mask. To me, that's a penalty you can live with. That's an aggressive penalty. A guy playing hard, guy straining, guy trying to finish, get to the rock. Cool. Those happen. Jermaine would tell you, and then Quincy too, with the one where he threw the punch. Like those are two that we can't have. The except for plays. The except for drives that we've had this season have been the ones where we've given up unnecessary points. Whatever it was, whether it was a mental error, whether it was unnecessary penalty. Those are things that we have to eliminate. To become the defense we want to become, you can't have them. The truth is, in my opinion, we should have held them to 3 points. And we're getting closer, but those penalties can't be a part of who we are, the unnecessary ones.
How much has Thomas Morstead been like a weapon for you guys, too?
Goodness gracious. He's the best punter I've ever been around in my life, not just played with, but played against. Yeah, he's as good as it gets. And he's got such an amazing demeanor. Like, typically specialists are so isolated. They don't have a whole lot of interaction with the team. They're not part of the culture as much. It's just the nature of that position, where he's a guy that is totally integrated with this locker room and this team, and he's become a mentor to a lot of guys. So not only is he a weapon on game day, which he absolutely is, the ability to pin teams in the 5-yard line on a consistent basis, like we have that mindset that there's no offense in football that can go 95 yards on us. The fact that he can do that on a consistent basis is tremendous. But then on top of that, his ability to really mentor these young guys and provide a really cool perspective for a guy. Yeah, he's a punter, but he's also he's highly evolved and very his regen, the way he takes care of his body, his nutrition, all that stuff. Although the position to stuff doesn't apply, there's a lot of stuff off the field that does apply. So he's a great resource for us.
Bryce, just obviously a quiet guy. Just how is he like in the meeting room, in the practice field, and can you just tell us a funny story about him?
He's a quiet guy. You nailed it. Yeah, he's a guy that for being one of the best pass rushers in this league, and I don't think anybody can argue that anymore. You would never know it, just his level of humility and the quiet nature that he walks around with, and not a whole lot of funny stories with him, just because he just keeps to himself a little bit, and he does his thing, and he's a good teammate. He's supportive of his teammates, he does all that, but he definitely is on the quieter side. So I wish I had a story for you. Jerry, you have a story about Brian? There's nothing that even comes to mind about him.
What makes the second half? As the second half went on the other day, was there a point where you're like, they're not going to throw the ball? How challenging was that to defend, because you don't want to leave open the possibility of getting burned by that?
Yeah, so basically everything became first and second down. That's how we kind of phrased it. And on everybody's call sheet, every defensive coordinator in the league, you have your calls for first, second down football, you have your calls for run game, you have your calls for 50-50 ball, you have all those things, as everybody knows. And it just became one of those games as it went along. This is going to be first and second down football every single down. 3rd and 11, first, second down football, running the ball. It was unique, but at the same time, when you really look at it, had we not scored that last touchdown of the game, his formula would have worked, and it would have got him the win. So, fortunately, offense came through, did their thing, and then we finished it off.
Have you ever played or coached a game where literally the opposition did not want to throw the ball? Like, they were not going to throw it?
Yeah, there was. I thought about that. There was a game. I don't know what year it was. It was in 2004, 2003, 4, 5, something like that. When I was with San Francisco, we played Chicago, and it was at that point, I think it was the windiest game in the history of the NFL, where the heated seats were tumbling onto the field, and there was like 47 false starts because no one could sit in a stance, and I think both quarterbacks combined went like 1 for 2. Like 2 attempts for both teams, 1 completion. Cody Pickett was our quarterback. You guys remember Cody Pickett?
I did,
yeah, the old cowboy. The cowboy, yeah. Yeah, that was a strange game. Yeah, but beyond that, the last game that I can remember even observing was that the Buffalo New England game from, was it last year? The one with the weather was a mess, and yeah, they kind of did the same thing. But fortunately for us, it didn't work.
Is it hard to go kind of from a game like that where the team doesn't want to throw and they have negative passing yards to now facing a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field as well as anybody?
Not too much, because we look at each game as its own entity, And if you think about how we prepared for the Giants, we didn't prepare for them that way. We prepared for the Giants' offense, and obviously that's not what we got on Sunday, and we had to adapt and pivot, which our players did an excellent job of. But yeah, each game it's its own challenge.
How big of a loss is beyond being in the human element, Al Woods? He was obviously playing a big role in the run defense.
Yeah, it's huge. He's a guy that came here and just brought just unbelievable mentorship and, like you said, the human element, leadership, and he's such a strong, steady man that just he brought such like wisdom and just peace to our entire unit, our entire defense, not just our defensive line. He became such a resource for everybody on and off the field. And like you said, he was an integral part of our run defense. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be kind of by committee a little bit, replacing what he does within our defensive line.
What have you seen from Smart so far, and what do you expect from him going forward?
Tenzel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, strain, finish, toughness, energy, juice. When he gets opportunities to play, he makes plays. So I anticipate he makes plays. I'm excited about him getting his op. He's a guy that he's why you coach football. He just loves this game, and his approach every day is just unmatched as far as his energy and his focus and his detail. So, so happy and fortunate that we have a guy like that on our roster that we can lean on in times like this.
Hey, what did Zach show you last week? Just after 59 minutes of uneven struggles, all of a sudden to come do what he did in the last part of the fourth quarter and overtime.
That was unbelievable. I mean, I think we were 26 seconds or 24. Why don't you guys just say it? It makes it look cooler. I mean, that was absolutely astounding what the entire group did. I mean, we've got a center in there that has only been here for 2 weeks and hasn't played the position much for us. And, Billy jumps in there, and they never lost that fight. And Zach still felt great, even though we hadn't put a lot of points up. And for him to be able to do what he did, Garrett run a beautiful route, him deliver an unbelievable ball. And then not only that, but then be able to do it one more time to get us in field goal range. I thought that was really great. And then going into the overtime, being able to execute, all that stuff. The good thing about Zach is, he continually grinds, continually works, keeps his head down, and does everything he can to try to do his best.
What is it about this team? It's just they continue to show grit throughout, no matter what the situation is.
It's such a credit to Coach Sala on how they built this organization here. These going into this third year. I mean, the defense supports the offense supports the defense. Special teams. It's just the whole group just continue to fight. It's the character of the team. I mean, those guys they know we always have a chance, and that showed it this past game, and it's really great to be a part of. It's something special.
When Zach gets sacked on fourth down the series before, do you start doing the math in your head, like, okay, we might get the ball back here, or what's going through your mind at that point for you?
Definitely. The defense was playing, unbelievable. So much credit to our defense. They are playing absolutely lights out. And once that happens, you start calculating every scenario possible. You get every play, every single thought that you've had for whatever situation we might have been left in. And we knew we'd probably have, a little over 20 seconds, not necessarily knowing where the ball might be, but you just start going through all those things and you talk. Every single series, we're always preparing for whatever might happen, whether it's in the middle of the game or at the very end of the game. And the guys were great. They were totally locked in, and we were talking about all the different scenarios and what we would want to do.
You knew this defense was tough. You talked about it last week, the Jags defense. But what was it like for you during the game when all this is happening, you're not moving the football? Like, what are you trying to do to make sure third down conversions, things like that?
You're looking at every single thing that you've planned. You're making sure that you have enough, that there are opportunities out there to convert. They were good. Those interior guys were absolutely fantastic, and so you're just trying to find out any matchup, anything, and the things that they do give you so many different one-on-ones. And so, how can you protect? How can you help? How can you pop more people open? And so we're just continually looking at all kinds of different things. And you try not to get caught up in what the stats are. You don't know until after the game. You're just thinking about how you can do anything you can to hold the ball and get into a scoring position.
You didn't know the third down, you knew at the end of the game. You didn't know
at the end of the game. I did not know at that time. I just knew that we were in. I thought the guys did a really good job, and they get back on track. Some of those things we were behind the sticks, and I thought that we got a couple first downs on some key slants to Garrett. I thought they connected on those really well. Obviously you know that it's not going well, but you're just trying to find anything and everything you can, because you want to get us an offense into rhythm, and you always review that game tape afterwards on why didn't you get in the rhythm? Why couldn't you, do different things? Again, if you're not converting on third down, that's why you don't feel that rhythm. So for us, we got to find a way to stay on the field.
I know Robert has kind of continually said, and you said, you guys are close. You're close, you're close. But at what point is being close not good enough anymore? Because we're going into week 9, and the third down issues are still there. Sustaining drives, first, second down problems. At what point,
Close is never good. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are within the season. The idea of the season is to be able to play your best ball at the end of the season as you go into the, hopefully, playoffs. So for me, everything is just continually grinding on trying to figure out what you can do better. Starts with me first. All the coaches continually always trying to find more ways to try to get people open or try to protect and help guys. And we never want to be close. When Robert says that, you're like, you don't like that saying. It's like, I don't want to be close. I want to be there. But the idea is you keep grinding, keep working, and know that we have to get better and fast.
What gives you the confidence that you are going to break through eventually as an offense?
I think it's the character in the room. I think that we're able to go in there and hold each other accountable and talk about what happened, where it went wrong, and the guys are able to take that upon themselves to understand how they can all get just a little bit better. If you have that, you always have a chance to be able to improve.
With all the changes on the offensive line, how frustrated is it as a play caller, not having that continuity?
It's been challenging. I give so much credit for all those guys being ready to go. That is a huge accomplishment to them, to Keith, to Ben, because we have had a lot of changes there. We've had a lot of different lineups, a lot of different guys. This past game, I've been doing this for a while and never had 2 centers go down, and so that was very unique. But in the end, in the moment, you're just what can we do? What can they handle? How can we help certain people? So you're always just trying to adjust. So you kind of just go into that mode whenever you lose certain people, especially key people like those guys. So, you just keep grinding and keep trying to find ways to be able to help people.
And also to follow up on that, so just kind of the challenges that this Chargers defensive line presents this week with obviously Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
I mean, Khalil went against him numerous times when we were at Green Bay. I mean, he's absolutely spectacular. And Bosa's unbelievable, too. They even have a young rookie. They've got a lot of guys on the inside. I mean, they're another good defense that have been together for a long time. It's got a lot of similarities as what we saw last week. They just do a couple different things, a little bit different. I said that twice, didn't I? Different. But I think, we got to handle those edge guys. I mean, they're so good, and we just have to have a plan and understand where everybody is, and it's going to take a village.
On the third down stuff, I know you're not tracking the stats during the game, but how do you make sure that frustration doesn't set in and where it's not becoming a thing where you're pressing or making more of it than it is, or trying too hard on third down?
I think you're doing that in all games. I mean, anytime it's not going exactly how you want, which I don't know how many games, even when you score a ton of points, I think I was only one game that I thought everything worked out perfectly. For us as coaches, we're teachers, and so we want to get on the sideline and we want to correct it. We want to make sure we're all on the same page and find out what went wrong. As long as we're communicating that allows people to stay focused. When all of a sudden where communication lacks, negativity fills the void. A lot of people have told me that in my past. So I think as long as we're continually communicating and going through it and everybody understands the plan moving ahead.
The issues on third down where improve it on first, like do better on first and second down, and boom, third down's easier. It sounds so simple, but it's obviously challenging because it's not getting better. So what goes into fixing first and second down? How can you guys get better with that?
I think like what you said, I think we were in some manageable third down conversion opportunities there. And the reality of it is those opportunities were there. And we just have to capitalize on them. And we have to continually practicing, continually getting more comfortable and with everybody or anybody that might be out there. Because there's always challenges on who's going to be out there, and especially this last game. But we have to find a way to make a play.
Breece Hall's been more involved in the passing game the last couple of games. Is that by design? And also, as a coach, what's it like when you see him with the ball in his hands in the open field?
I think it's a combination of in design and also some of the things that the defense is taking away from us because we've been passing the ball a little bit more. And I think that we can all agree whenever he or Garrett or somebody or Conklin has the ball, all those guys are dynamic when they get it. My job, along with all the coaches and the quarterbacks, is to get them the ball so they can make plays because that check down to Breece was unbelievable. And what was even more great to see as a coach was watching CJ have a lead block on that one, which really sprung the whole thing, and Breece did the rest. So, but those simple things can go a long way.
How difficult and impressive was what Xavier Newman did on Sunday?
I don't think anybody that's not in the room and does this all the time can understand how amazing that was. I mean, here's a guy that, Zach had never taken a snap from him. And we've got a whole offense that we put in and to go in there. And not only that, but the conditions. I mean, we were all debating on whether or not we should go in the gun or we should go under center on the first play for him. And then for that to happen when we turn the ball over, for him to just wipe it clean, go to the next play, and still be able to battle that whole game. And then even towards the end of the game, the things that he did, and he got better as the game went on. I mean, it was unbelievable. I give him so much credit. I mean, I don't even know him very well. He hasn't been here that long, and here we are depending on him to make all the calls. And so it's a credit to him and all the coaches to getting him ready.
What's it been like having Aaron on the headset with you guys? Like, has he been sort of a calming presence for everybody? I know that's kind of Sometimes it's calming. Aaron is fantastic. It's always great to have him on there. He's brilliant when it comes to understanding the game of football. So he's always offering different things up, and I appreciate that. And it's just great to have him there. I mean, his presence on the sideline, his presence in the meetings, just whenever he's around. I mean, for all of you, anybody that's around him, I mean, that's his kind of superpower besides throwing the football. So it's always great to have him always being heard.
If Joe is able to get back Tippmann either this week or next, how beneficial will him? Because we've seen him play pretty decent at guard, but now he's going to go back to his, I would assume, his natural position at center.
Yeah, we'll see who's gonna. We're working all that stuff out. We got a couple more days to figure out, who's going to be available for us and who we're going to be able to put out there. And I know they're all going to be ready.
Well, I mean, more specifically, as in we've seen him play pretty good guard. He was drafted as a center. That's what his future projects to be. I mean, how good can he be now going back to where he's naturally?
We'll find out. I mean, optimistic about everything. I mean, we got to put him out there and let him go.